it's Julia. Today I'm going to show you a pirate look for Halloween. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Enjoy! So first I applied an eyeshadow base in a black color. This is one by Maybelline, and I think this just really helps the eyeshadows to appear more vibrantly, especially when you put them on top of a black base. They kind of just pop a little bit more. So I used a soft brush just to blend that out. I think this is actually a MAC 217 brush. And then I also applied that just on the lower lid. So next I'm going in with this burgundy red color by L'Oreal, and I'm going to be applying this only to the middle of my eyelid because I'm going to be adding some darker shadows on the inner and outer corner, so you want to leave those blank. So just really pack on the color in the center only. Just blend that upwards. And then I took this dark brown, almost bronze in color, and I'm going to be applying this with a softer brush. I think this brush is by Sigma. And then I applied that to the inner and to the outer corners. So then you want to start blending it with those colors. You can kind of pack it on a little bit more and then just blend where those two colors meet. And I know it's going to look a little bit rough right now, but I'm going to blend it out later a bit more, so don't worry. You're kind of going for a very rounded eye shape, so I'm kind of just making those colors meet in the middle, but don't go over the red. Now just to intensify that, I used this dark plum color and added that with a very small pencil brush by Hakuhodo and just added that on the outer and inner corners. So this is really just going to add a little bit of depth and just make that color a bit richer. And then I just went and blended that out again so that everything looks very smooth and everything's just like blended together. On the lower lid, I basically just repeated those steps. So I took that reddish color and placed that on the middle area, and then the darker plum on the inner and outer corners. And then I just went ahead and blended the colors together. So I really wanted like a very intense look for this eye, obviously. So here I'm just blending the colors together. And now to blend out the top, I'm going to use a medium brown color, and I used a blending brush that's a little bit thicker and just kind of went all around the edges, and that's going to smooth down all the corners and stuff. And it's just going to blend all the colors together. I mean, I wanted this eye to look very intense. So for the highlight, I actually used this color by Sleek. This is actually from a highlighting palette, so really just use whatever you have. And I applied that just underneath my brow, just for a little bit of a highlight. I didn't want something too shimmery or sparkly or anything like that. And then I wanted to go back on the lower area and added some of that medium brown color below, so it's almost kind of like going just below where you applied the eyeshadow, so that the eyes look a little bit more shadowy. I wanted them to look almost a little bit spooky. For the eyeliner, I wanted a very thick black, just intense eyeliner. So I used a kohl pencil by Urban Decay, and I applied that on the top and on the lower waterline and my tight line. And then I just used a pencil brush just to blend it out. So the eyeliner is obviously going to be very intense. Think like Jack Sparrow, you know, just really dark and mysterious, I guess. For the brows, I wanted a very intense dark brow, so I'm using colors that are a little bit darker than my natural brow hair. And I do actually have a video that shows in detail how I fill in my brows. That might be a little bit more helpful for you because it does show everything in detail. But basically I used just a brown pencil and then some brow powders. I even actually used a black eyeshadow just to intensify the color and just make it a lot darker. So there the brows are completed. And then I just applied a thick coat of mascara on the top and the bottom lashes. If you want to use false lashes, you can definitely go ahead and do that, but I just went with mascara for this time. So I've actually used some darker foundation to already contour my face before I started this, and I might actually do a video on that someday separately, but basically what I did here is I just kind of intensified the contouring that I already did with the foundation, and I used here a contouring product by Sleek. So I really wanted a very, you know, sculpted look here, and I added this golden color onto my cheeks, kind of like a very bronzen sunbeat look, and I think that just kind of makes it look a bit more realistic for a pirate, like, you know, just a little bit more intense. So for the lips, I went ahead and just used a lip liner on my lips to outline them first, and this is like in a dark cranberry color. And then I filled in my entire lips using this burgundy red shade. This is also by Sleek, and I just used a brush for this just to make it a little bit more precise. And I wanted the lips to look multi-tonal, so here I'm actually using another lip pencil in a darker color. And what I did is I just applied that to the outer part of my lips, so you're kind of going to get a gradient effect on your lips, almost like an ombre effect, where the outer corners are darker. And this is really just using that lip liner just to intensify the color, make it a little bit darker. And then I went over that with a very dark lipstick. This is like a really, really dark, intense lipstick, and I just used a lip brush to kind of just blend that with what I already had, and yeah, just darken the edges up. And then in the middle, I wanted sort of a brighter red, so I used this bright red lipstick and just blended that right in the middle area. As for accessories, I decided to go for these feather earrings. These are actually dream catchers, but I thought they kind of went with the costume, and I just, you know, used whatever I had. You could, you know, if you have more specific jewelry, that would be perfect. And then I just curled my hair. You know, nothing too fancy, but I thought that this would be fun. And then of course the hat, can't miss out on that. Looks so funny with this bow, but I just love this. And for the rest of the costume, I added this chunky brown leather belt, and I thought that just kind of looked a little bit more piratey. I don't know. I just added whatever I had at home. And then I used these kitchen knives. Now if you're actually going out dancing, you might want to use like plastic knives so that you're not going to hurt yourself or hurt someone else. But just for the sake of this video, I thought they looked kind of cool, these knives, and I don't know, I thought that just went well. So then I added this necklace. As I said, I don't really have any typical pirate jewelry. Maybe some chunky gold jewelry would work really well. And the actual costume is from fancydress.com, and I will have a link for it below if you're interested in this costume. It's more actually of a coat, so it is a little bit too short to wear as a dress unless you're really short yourself maybe. So I paired it with some black leggings. These are by Zara, but you could use like pants or something like that. And then I thought these brown boots went really well with it because they look kind of slouchy, they look kind of piratey. Now these are already owned before, but I thought these were just perfect for this costume. So that's actually it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial on this whole look, and hope you guys have a wonderful Halloween, have so much fun. If you like this video, don't forget to rate it with a like and leave a comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!